大家好，今天我邀请了我的另外一位朋友 Josh 来讲述一下他的故事。接下来我们有请 Josh。
My name is Joshua Latimer. I'm a master's student in Dr. Bosco Yu's lab working on a new type of 3D printer and 3D printing cervical disc implants. It's really cool. My background is in biomedical engineering.
Are you indigenous?
I am not indigenous.
Last day you told me that this question is weird.
No, I don't think the question's weird. I just don't think, personally, I look indigenous. So
Okay.
I look pretty white.
Since I come to Canada, I thought the indigenous is white boy, so white guy. So
No, I do know, like, I have some friends that, like, look like me and are indigenous, but I am not. I'm Irish and Dutch is my heritage on my parents' side.
Oh, okay. So you are born here, right?
Yeah, I was born here, yeah.
Oh, perfect. So the indigenous people here looks a little dark.
I think it depends on, like, where you grew up and what your parents look like. So,
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
I always say two, but technically I have one. So I have an older sister who's blood related to me, and
Yeah.
then I have a younger sister who's my cousin, but she's lived with my family since birth, so she's basically a sister.
How does it feel to be a student again?
Yeah, it feels weird, but it also feels it's normal. I've done so much school for so long that
Yeah.
it felt weird my year I took off trying to find a job where like it feels more natural, but that's because I gravitate to I like doing research. So doing that for the master's makes it feel different, but still the same as being a student again.
So do you think graduate student life is more stressful for you?
No, I think it's the opposite. Like there's less classes. I get to choose the classes that I want to do more so.
Okay,
and
yeah.
It feels more like a job because I'm doing the research. So it feels less stressful than my undergraduate degree. I'm not like it's less stressful. Like I'm still stressed, but a lot of my stress comes from my startup and stuff like that. So it comes from outside sources, not necessarily the schools. Like school's still stressful, but
Okay.
not as much as my undergrad degree.
Oh, cool. Okay. Do you have any funny or awkward interview stories before coming back to school?
Not any really funny ones. There's because when I took a year off, I was still working on campus in a research lab, a different one. So it kind of felt like the same. I guess the funny stories would be trying to apply for jobs and
Yeah.
going to the interviews and then just not seeing anything from there. I did apply for some places in Toronto. I interviewed at a couple places in Vancouver. So
Wow.
then going to Vancouver, I got to see some of my undergrad friends who graduated and moved back home. So I stayed with them. So that was fun.
Okay, so your interview stories are normal. That's no special, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If someone, an international student, is struggling to find a job, what advice I can get from you?
I would say apply for as many as possible, but also tailor your application per job. Don't necessarily use a template.
Yeah.
So I have a resume that has everything I've ever done on it. That then when I apply for a job, I remove sections that don't fit with what they're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah, I think this is tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah, every job you need to tailor your resume to
Yeah.
write a different cover letter. It's
Yeah.
time consuming, I think.
So I have for mine, because I struggle with writing and stuff, I basically have a master cover letter and a master resume that has everything on it. So my cover letter will have I'll have certain paragraphs explaining things. And then when I apply for a job, I kind of pick what paragraph fits and then slightly change it for
Okay.
it. So I kind of have pre-made things already, but I'll still change them to fit, but just have things pre-made to make it a little bit easier when you're applying for jobs where you don't have to redo everything.
Okay. Good preparing is the first step.
Yeah.
So how can we perform well during the interview with the
Yeah.
recruiter?
I feel like there's certain questions that are kind of trap questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Like
think
what's
so.
your greatest strength and what's your greatest weakness?
Yeah.
So giving clear answers or unique answers. So for the what's your greatest strength and greatest weakness, in my job interviews that I've had before I started my master's, I would always say my greatest strength and my greatest weakness is the same thing, and
Okay.
that's my ADHD. Where my
I saw that you were answering
Yeah.
excellent.
My ADHD is a strength because it allows me to think really quickly and have creative solutions and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
But it's also a weakness because I can get hung up on things that don't necessarily need as much importance.
Okay.
So I always try to like giving unique answers that are concise, but also tailoring it to the person. So like when I go do interviews for jobs, I Google the person who's going to be interviewing me. I Google the company more. Like try to get as much information as possible from those people, because then you can try to relate some things to them.
Yeah.
And that's a good way of at least establishing a connection.
Yeah, I think so. I think your suggestion is pretty good. As far as I know, you're currently a co-founder of a company here in Canada.
Yeah.
What's the startup environment like here? Are there any special government policies or support programs for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, there's like, so UVic has what they call a entrepreneurship co-op. Two of the founders of my startup did that, where it counts as a co-op credit, but you don't get paid. You actually work on your startup. So like they basically got a co-op credit to work on our startup. But then there's also like other programs too, like there's Lab to Market, which is a government funded program that you can take your research that you think can get a place in the market, and they'll allow you to do all like the market research and validate your product. So there's a lot of like government incentives, especially with like grants and other programs that you can apply for that could help.
Oh, you start your program in UVic Co-op, right?
I didn't, but we started it through a class, and then we decided to make it into a startup, and two of the other founders did a co-op for our startup.
Oh, cool. So you mean that UVic can provide to the people a platform to support them to...
They like most universities in Canada and UVic including, like they try to foster stuff like that. Like they try to encourage.
Is there any financial support at the beginning?
UVic does have financial support that they can give you with like getting patents, but we didn't go with it because the terms, we didn't necessarily like the terms.
Okay, just some training, right?
Yeah.
It's not enough, I think.
No, but they do help. Like there's UVic has the Coast Capital Innovation Center.
Yeah.
Which is in the library, and they help a lot. Like they will give you a lot of good advice, help you find things. And they're really the ones that push for like entrepreneurs out of UVic.
So you're thinking it's helpful, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super helpful. What
cool.
Coast Capital did was they basically helped us from the beginning, and I don't think we would have like gotten this far without that initial help. So
yeah. Okay.
More like mentorship than financial support, I guess.
Can you imagine that maybe 10 years later you can become a millionaire or something like depends on your current project?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Like I'm not in it for that. Like my startup was like I really was passionate about.
Yeah.
And so like since it's a medical device, I'm more in the field of like I just want to get to market so it can help people.
Oh, you have very big ambitions.
Yeah. So like I don't necessarily care about the money. You need the money and you need to be able to get paid for your job, but I don't like being a millionaire isn't, as long as I can live comfortably, and I'm currently doing that, I'm fine.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I saw on LinkedIn that your company received a lot of funding from the Canadian government. Could you share one impressive example with us?
Yeah, it wasn't directly related to like the Canadian government. A lot of our competitions that we've gone to are like student competitions or like pitch competitions, and you could win money if you place top 3. We went to 3 different competitions.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten from those competitions, we placed all 3 times. So we've gotten still waiting on the checks, but we got awarded over like $20,000.
$20,000 in total, right?
In total, yeah. So those are fun. And the reason I like the competitions is it's not just like you go and you present and you get the money. Like the entire environment of those competitions are really great. Like you meet other founders, other students that are working on their own projects that are trying to do it. So it allows you to build your network.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I think so. You can get interpersonal
Yeah.
networking with others. Yeah, this is good journey, I think. You have rich background in entrepreneurship and marketing. What have been some key lessons from your career so far?
I would say one of the biggest lessons is, especially when developing a medical device, is always expect your timeline for like speed of like the things you're working on to take 3 times as longer as you're expecting.
Oh, you mean during the competition?
Not even during the competition, just in general. So like we're developing a medical device and we were hoping to start the FDA at the end of next year, so 2027.
Oh, yeah.
We were hoping to start it. And that was a lofty goal, but it's probably going to be longer than that, actually. It's probably going to take longer. So things take longer than expected when like developing something or marketing.
Okay, cool. You mean the timeline, right?
Yeah, timeline is always longer than you expect.
You are searching some way to expedite it?
Yeah, so we've designed our device in such a way that we can expedite ourselves through the FDA,
Yeah.
but getting to the FDA is taking longer than we thought.
Okay.
Because we basically have to have a device that's like fully ready before we apply for FDA clearance, and that's taking longer than we thought.
We can recruit more staff here, can help you to accelerate.
Yeah, so there is like we can bring on people, but we're not paying ourselves yet.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we don't want to bring on anyone for free because we feel bad.
Maybe someone wants to be a volunteer in your group.
Yeah, maybe. We're looking into that. We're also looking into potentially hiring a co-op student in the fall because we'll have some money for a co-op student. So
Oh, yeah, you have 20 already.
yeah.
Do you plan to return to entrepreneurship after your degree, or are you exploring something new?
I don't know. Like, it depends on how the startup continues. Like, if we're in a good place, I would like to continue it. But I also really enjoy research. So doing research is something I enjoy. So if I don't do my startup or don't stick with entrepreneurship, I really like research. So doing an R&D position or continuing researching in a lab somewhere would be my other choice if I don't stick with entrepreneurship.
Are you into the 3D print?
Yeah, I love 3D printing. I think my research focus is like anything that involves 3D printing.
To be honest, I think 3D print in magnetic research is a little boring. I don't think it's interesting.
It's boring waiting for it, but designing stuff and seeing all the new stuff that's coming out and all the new type of printers coming out is what excites me. And
Okay.
just the possibility of what you could do with it.
I also can feel that you mean, do you know that Dimitri has a 3D printer machine at his home?
Yeah.
He tried a lot of new stuffers with
Yeah.
his designs. It's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. I have a 3D printer at home as well, but I have a resin one instead
Oh,
of,
cool.
I actually owned for a period of time, owned 2 3D printers. So I had one like we have in lab, and then I had a resin one as well. And then I sold the one that was like similar to the one in the lab. I like most about 3D printers, and I think Dimitri might feel the same way, not putting words in his mouth, but is you could just make whatever you
Like,
want.
this is my first time to see that you have a 3D printing machine at home. So next time you can share with us some new stuff you printed to us. We can
Yeah, I
a
don't
look,
have.
yeah.
I don't have right now. One of my co-founders has the printer because we're using it for the startup.
Oh,
But I'll be getting it back soon. So
oh, cool, awesome. And look forward to see your new product. In the last 3 years, we have the same class together.
Yeah.
That we were studying with many undergraduate students.
Yeah.
What's it like studying with younger classmates? Have you noticed any cultural or generation differences on campus?
I haven't noticed anything specific, but that could be that a lot of the classes I have with undergrads, they're close to my age. They're within like 2 years.
Well, you are just older than you are 2 years old.
I'm 26. So like a lot of the people are either 23 or 24 in the classes that we're taking.
Maybe also 21, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not noticing a very stark difference in kind of like cultural or generational stuff. But I do notice it with like, it might just be me getting old where it's less like, don't really gel with the younger undergrads where it's a lot harder to try to relate to them or work with them. It's hard to like relate to them or like the younger people I don't want to hang out with or
Why? You think they are not mature?
like not that
Mature.
they're not mature, but it's just I think a difference of
Different thinking,
different way of thinking and
different ideas.
yeah.
Okay. You want to hang out with older people like me?
I tend to like the younger people like to go out to like bars or go
Oh, okay.
dancing or
To
stuff
do some
like
crazy
that.
things.
And like I used to be like that, but then growing up now, it's just like I'd much rather just go home and
To stay with your partner together
Yeah.
to enjoy the.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is like present here with like younger people have different hobbies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Okay. Yeah, I think so. What do you usually do to relax or have fun outside of class?
I do a couple things. So I play video games, and that's more so just like I grew up playing them. So
Or you play video games with your partner together?
not with my partner. My partner and I are different in that fact. Like I definitely play a lot more games. She plays like things like Mario and like,
Oh, okay.
Nintendo stuff, but I play stuff on my computer. So I fully built Scratch made my desktop. So like I built it from scratch using
Oh,
PC components.
cool.
Ian does. I do a lot of like miniature painting or painting of like little figurines as something to
Okay.
not do on the screen.
What's the average time you spend on computer games every day?
Average, I normally do anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours.
So possibly is that a reason I saw your teams always online?
My Teams is always online because I don't set it off. I always have it appear online. So I have it up on a separate monitor. So whenever I do or move my mouse, it turns online.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's some small thing that always cheers you up on a stressful day?
I would say hanging out with my partner, spending time is really nice. But then also doing like my hobbies, like
Go hiking, something like that?
no, just hanging out. Like we watch TV shows together. We cook together. I really enjoy cooking.
Go to the groceries, something like that?
Yeah, we do stuff like that. Not often. We try to do outside activities. Every night we go for a walk together just around our neighborhood
Oh,
to get outside. But cooking with her is one thing that always cheers me up. But that's because I really enjoy cooking.
oh, cool. You might share with us when do you prefer to marry?
Yeah, we've talked about marriage, and we've come to the agreement where both of us want to be kind of established in our careers before. Like
Yeah.
we want to have like a good base before we get married.
That you have your own business first?
Own business
career,
or
right?
have a career.
Yeah.
She's a journalist, so she wants to like have her career set first as well. And I think that's just because we want to be in the best place possible before we get married. Of like,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think. Have you ever talked much with Chinese students or other international students? Anything that surprised you?
I've talked with a lot of international students. Like I had a lot of friends that were international students, and I've talked to. I think actually talking to an international student from China. I think you're the one I've talked to the most.
Me?
Yeah, and then I've talked to an international student at the University of Washington when I was down there for a competition.
Oh,
I think the surprising thing, and it's not surprising in a bad way, it's actually surprising in a good way, is the cultural differences. Learning about everyone's culture is always interesting.
yeah. Can you take an example?
Yeah, I'm going to use you as an example. The fact that you can fall asleep for like 15 minutes and wake up immediately and then get right back to work is surprising to me.
I think it depends on different individuals.
Yeah.
It's not related to the culture.
I think another cultural thing that with some of my friends who were international students that surprised me was the food, actually. Like the food that they would cook, mostly because like it always smelled so good, but then there was also like similarities to food that I grew up eating of like similar but different, I guess.
Oh, you mean every time I warm up my food in the microwave, you smell good, but when you look at it, it's entirely different with yours?
No, it smells good, but then it reminds me of similar things. So like what do your like egg and your rice and your stir fries.
Yeah, rice.
Like it smells really good and it looks good and it looks different from what I grew up having, but I also grew up having stir fries. Just different types of stir fries.
Yeah,
So,
I saw so many times you eat rice,
Yeah.
right? But Dimitri, Kiana, these two guys always say that eat pasta and noodles.
Yeah.
It's very different with yours.
Yeah, I'm not much of like a pasta person. I tend to gravitate more towards like ramen and stuff, but that's because that's what I ate when I was younger. With like my dad likes Chinese food and
Okay.
Japanese food, so I grew up eating that and grew up eating sushi, and so it's always surprising in a good way, like seeing what other people cook, because it always gives me ideas of like, ooh, I
Yeah.
want to try cooking that now. My great grandfather on my dad's side was from Ireland,
Yeah,
and then my grandfather on my mom's side was from the Netherlands.
yeah.
So my parents were both born in Canada,
Oh,
but their grandparents and parents.
okay. You are third generation here.
Yeah,
So that's the reason your English is so good.
I would say my English is bad.
Just a little bit fast. Yeah. What's one Canadian lifestyle habit that you still feel a bit strange to? Like drinking cold water in winter or not wearing certain things?
Yeah, I don't think any Canadian habit's weird to me. I can understand why certain Canadian habits are weird to international people who are not familiar with like Canada. So like I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, which is like northern Alberta.
Yeah.
So it gets we have winter 8 months out of
8
the year.
months.
Yeah. So it's like it's really cold, but like I do remember that like people, and even when I go back for like holidays and stuff, like we drink slushies in the winter, and I can understand why people think that's weird. Or
It's
drinking.
cold?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or out here, I noticed the biggest thing that was kind of funny that people gave me weird looks for is it snows in Victoria, but not a lot. It snows like maybe a couple times a year, and we only ever get like a centimeter or stuff like that. So then things like campus closes down because of the snow and stuff like that. And that's weird to me because I grew up in a place that had lots of snow that would get like 2 to 3 feet of snow, and I would still go to school. So that was weird from like the Victoria culture compared to the Edmonton culture was weird with like this is not a lot of snow, it's not that cold.
oh,
Like why is everything shutting down? That was, I think, one weird thing for me when coming to Victoria.
yeah. But I found that even though you're from Alberta, right?
Yeah.
It's so cold. Oliver also comes from Alberta, but I saw so many times in the cold weather he just wear pants, but you wear more layers than them.
Yeah, like I don't wear a lot of layers, and I think it's because like I get cold out here because it's a different type of cold. Like it's very wet in
Oh,
Victoria, where in Alberta it's very dry. So it's not a very like
Different feeling, right?
Yeah.
On body.
So it's less humid. So like in Alberta, you can wear layers and it helps. Or like wear a really nice like thick jacket and you'll be fine. But out here, it's almost like the cold seeps through your clothes because it's humid. So
Yeah. Okay. The other thing I'm curious about that, did you have a lose power after drinking cold water in the winter?
No, actually, but I think that's just how I grew up.
Okay.
Like I never like drink like in the winter. I don't drink anything cold like outside in Alberta. Like if I'm outside, I'm not drinking something cold.
Well, you just drink at home?
Yeah, I drink it at home, or I'll go get something cold and then we'll drink it in the car as I'm driving home. Or
Okay. It means that your body has already get into the cold water.
yeah,
I know that you have a great partner. That you also just mentioned earlier. How did you meet each other? Are
Yeah.
there any romantic story behind it?
well, kind of. So I met my partner through a mutual friend.
Or mutual friend?
Yeah.
You hung out with them together?
Yeah. So someone I knew in first year, she was friends with them, and I met her my second year of university. And we're both from Alberta, but different parts of Alberta. So I'm from northern Alberta, and she's from just outside of Calgary.
Mhm.
So we've been together for 5 years.
What part of your girlfriend do you think is most attractive for you?
I think it's like her kindness and her personality. I think like we're opposite in some of the things we like. Like she reads a lot of books, and I don't read. But it's easy being around her. It's like I can be myself, she can be herself. She's super kind, super helpful. Like a lot of my undergraduate papers or essays I had to write, she edited them.
Oh, cool. Her English is better than you, right?
Oh yeah, way better. She has a writing degree.
Cool. What do you think is the biggest challenge for young people dating today? Money?
Not, I wouldn't say money. It's
Last time the Dmitry told me that for youngest, the girl always hope boy should be the one to pay, right?
I feel like it's the cultural things with younger generations. I feel like a lot of people who are younger generations that are dating are doing it through like apps and like online dating and then meeting. So it's not as organic, I would say, as like meeting someone in person initially and then starting a connection like that. So I would say that's a challenge, but it's also like expectations on both sides too. Like and unrealistic initial expectations, I feel like.
Why is you are reluctant to build a connection with people in reality?
I think it's just no one knows how to anymore. I feel like it's like dating apps have become so prevalent that that's kind of like the norm for dating now. That's one of the biggest challenges is just people on both sides having unrealistic expectations initially. Like unrealistic expectations of what early dating looks like and then not properly like communicating those expectations.
Yeah.
My understanding or my personal belief is whoever asks the person on the date should have to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Like if the girl asks the guy on a date, she shouldn't expect him to pay. So like if a guy asks a girl on a date to a restaurant, like he should pay for her food and a drink, unless it's like she buys the most expensive thing possible,
Okay.
or if he buys the most expensive thing possible. Like it's all about communication and really just like properly communicating. So like me and my partner, we split everything.
Okay.
But by split, it's like if we go on a date to a restaurant, I'll pay one time for everything. And then like the next time we go to a different one, she'll pay. Or we split groceries 50-50.
That sounds better, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so if every time the boy should pay, that should be very stressful.
Yeah, I
for the
think it is
guys.
stressful too. I also think like with like first dates, you should never go to like an expensive restaurant. Like
Yeah.
it should be like a lunch date or like let's go to a coffee shop and hang out and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
think those are better because they're less intimate, but you can still talk as much as possible.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And what does success mean to you?
I think success to me is something personal where I would consider myself successful if I can still do all the things I want to do and be comfortable. Like have enough money where I can afford my rent and the food I want, but then also splurge on my hobbies of like, oh, I want this game, so I'll buy this game, or I want this model, so I'll buy this model. And not have to worry about, oh, am I going to be able to pay bills next month? Or so I think that's success to me, is not fame or lots of money. It's just you are comfortable where you're at. You don't have to worry about things. You got enough money that you don't have to worry about things. You enjoy where you're at, and you're just happy.
And you have the same answer as Demetrius. Yeah, he also told me that money is a major factor that whether you are happy or not, but just do the thing you like and enjoy your life is most important.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to tell your future self 10 years from now? Yeah, maybe 10 years later you can go back to see this video.
Don't stress about the little things. Like things tend to work out even when things don't look like they're going to work out.
Yeah.
Just stay positive and things eventually will work out even if it doesn't seem like they will.
Okay. So based on this question, so what kind of person you want to be in the future, in 10 years from now?
I would like to relatively stay the same. Like I'm hoping 10 years down the line, I'm married to my partner. Hopefully we're happy. We both want pets. So I would love a dog. I grew up with dogs. I think I would want to be in a research position, whether that's my startup or working in a lab or working for a 3D printing company, researching new techniques. Yeah.
I think you'll miss one thing. 10 years later, you must have so many babies.
We are undecided on kids.
Really?
Yeah, like I want kids. My partner's a little iffy on kids, but I get all my kids fixed from my nephew. He's like 6. And so like, I get it now. We're not in a position yet where kids are a possibility, where we could afford to support a child. I think maybe down the line we might be, but that's something where we haven't talked about that a lot. We're not committing to anything, I guess.
Yeah.
We're like leaving options open, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, everything is changing.
Yeah.
Okay. As you know, nowadays, the war between Israel and Iran, how do you think about it?
I think it's stupid. It makes no sense, but it's also coming from an outside perspective.
Which side you support?
I don't support either. Like, I don't know enough of either
Yeah.
to make a properly informed opinion. Israel had the thing with Palestine, and I think that one, like, I still don't know enough to make an opinion, but they're not even done that, and then this happened with Iran. It's a weird time, and it seemed out of the blue, but only time will tell.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.